Have you ever wondered what would have happened if Garou never became the hero hunter? In this video, we'll explore Garou's backstory and delve into what could have happened if he never defected from the dojo. We'll examine Garou's childhood, his empathy towards monsters, and how his journey with Bang could have taken a different turn. By the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of Garou's character and how his decision to become a hero hunter was influenced by his past experiences. Find out what could have happened if Garou had taken a different path. Although we were introduced to Garou as one of the main antagonists of One Punch Man, him becoming a hero isn't really much of a hard sell. He's got all the skills and training, the natural qualities, the fearless mindset, and the perfect underdog backstory. Garou studied martial arts under the tutelage of the S-class hero Bang, aka Silver Fang, until he turned 18 and defected to become an object of fear to the heroes, the hero hunter. But what if that last part never happened? Looking at Garou's childhood, we know that, despite always looking like an angry dust bunny, Garou was actually very sweet. He just grew up in a harsh and unloving environment. He was constantly subjected to physical abuse and bullying, incited by the most popular child in his elementary class, a rude little snot named Taddy or Tachan. In a game called Heroes vs. Monsters, the kids would assign roles and reenact the popular kids' TV show Justice Man, a show where heroes fought monsters and, of course, triumphed over them every time. Garou, after he stood up for another victim, tried to tell Taddy that this game was dangerous and he could hurt the other child. During this confrontation, we see a shining example of Garou's deep compassion for both humans and monsters, as well as Garou's first real heroic act. As a consequence of standing up for the other kid and expressing sympathy for the monsters of Justice Man, Taddy turns Garou into the monster of the game instead. Oh, if Tachan had only known what he'd done. Growing up relatively poor, Garou understands the struggle and the value of hard work, causing him to develop a deep empathy towards the monsters of his show, who, in his perspective, were just trying their best to survive in a world that decided they should not exist, simply because of who they were. He resonated with his image of them, deciding to embrace his role as a monster and soon began fighting back against his bullies. Unfortunately, this bravery only led to him being ostracized more, this time by his teachers and adults who should have been protecting him. They really weren't kidding when they said trauma builds character. Now, if you're a fan, we're pretty familiar with where the story heads from here. Bang trains Garou for a few years before Garou eventually rebels and is expelled from the dojo, which happens approximately 6 months before the martial arts tournament that we see in Season 2, Episode 5 during the Super Fight arc. Assuming Bang was stricter in this timeline, Garou would not get away with his actions. Bang would go all out against Garou, just like he did in Season 2 when he fought a very injured version of Garou with his brother Bomb. Bang's dojo had been destroyed, and Bang caught him trying to break into the safe that contained the scrolls of secret techniques. Garou's cocky attitude angers Bang even more, and he decides to teach him a lesson by using all his power and even unleashing a technique Garou has never seen before. Garou is soundly defeated by Bang, who breaks several of his leg bones. Bang contemplates expelling Garou, but realizes it would only fuel his resentment towards society and heroes. Instead, he gives Garou an ultimatum: register with the Hero Association and work to make amends for his actions, or be disfigured so he can never use martial arts again. Bang would rather take away Garou's future than let him rob innocents of theirs. Garou might think he's bluffing at first, but upon looking into his sensei's eyes, he would realize he was dead serious. A small panic might set in as Garou's never before seen such a serious side of his sensei before. It might even scare the bejesus out of him. It'd make him pause and he'd take a few heartbeats to consider his offer. Garou values his strength and self-sufficiency above all else. He wouldn't love the idea of losing his independence or his motor functions, so eventually, he'd begrudgingly agree and take the next month or so healing before regaining his top form and heading over to the Hero Association. This would take place right before and going into the Alien Conquerors arc in Season 1. Garou passes the hero exam with flying colors and causes a huge uproar by ranking S-Class, directly below Pori Pori Prisoner. He makes it clear that he hates heroes and declares that he could be a better hero than all of them combined, even as a monster. He challenges A and S-Class heroes to fights, constantly skill hunting them to test himself and prove a point. He would likely match or even surpass the human version of Garou that took out Tank Top Master, as he continues to master the flowing water crushing rock style under Bang. Though he despised most heroes in the corrupt organization, he would have a pretty great relationship with one hero, Metal Bat. Their friendship would begin to bud after they had their first fight, which would have lasted for hours, been very bloody, and ended with no clear winner. It would have sparked the foundation for them to gain mutual respect for each other's strengths, but also birthed a sort of sibling rivalry between the two. It would have been the most wholesome OPM bromance, with hashtag Metal Garou being the ship we'd all want to stand. Other than that though, Garou would maintain a precarious yet comical relationship with the other characters. He'd be having childish arguments with Terrible Tornado often, picking on her diminutive stature, but would never try to fight her seriously. He would constantly be at odds with a mime Mask, who would hate Garou for being so crude, and Garou would hate him for being a prissy bastard. Garou, as a hero, would mostly work alone, except for the occasional team-up with Metal Bat or Silver Fang. He would treat monsters with a sense of humanity, offering them chances to repent, similar to how Bang gave him a second chance. However, the monsters would often just laugh or not care, forcing Garou to destroy them. This would make him question his philosophy on heroes and monsters, reevaluating his perspective on the matter. Garou would start to wonder why people need heroes, what makes them different from monsters, and would feel guilty about killing monsters, but also guilty about letting them harm human civilians. Garou's first major fight would be against the Deep Sea King during the Sea Monster arc in Season 1. He'd ideally arrive shortly after the lower-class heroes got bodied. The sight there would both break his heart and enrage him. Heroes half dead and bleeding, civilians terrified, women and children trembling and teary-eyed, fearing for their lives. Garou's innate heroic traits would never be able to let that slide, and he'd begin attacking the Deep Sea King with mad fervor, seemingly going toe-to-toe with him at first before getting pushed back. The fight would present him with just enough difficulty for him to unlock overcoming death for the first time, powering him up enough to defeat the Deep Sea King and save the civilians. For those who may not know, overcoming death is a skill Garou gains in the manga that's reliant on his indomitable will. It's pretty self-explanatory. He's pushed to the brink of death before using willpower and/or fighting spirit to overcome it, and this process starts breaking his limiters, allowing him access to power beyond that of a human's. This is the fight that would help solidify his acceptance of being a hero. It would make him realize that his hatred was never towards the heroes as individuals, but rather the idea of a hero. And now that he was a hero, he could break down that false ideal and rebuild it with his own hands in his own definition. He could change what it meant to be a hero. He'd think that he could be the hero he never saw on TV, the hero of the misfits. He'd decide then and there that he was going to tear down the Hero Association and reform it from the inside out. Moving forward in time again, Garou's second major hero fight would be a team-up with Metal Bat, Bang, and Atomic Samurai against Melzagard in the Alien Conquerors arc. The fight would showcase the Flowing Water Fist, and Garou would unlock his Fighting Spirit combo skill with Metal Bat earlier than in the manga. Garou would find the fight to be a snooze fest and want to continue the fight on the alien ship. Luckily for him, shortly after that, the Terrible Tornado would blow in, and Garou would be struck with a brilliant, albeit risky idea. Garou would taunt and provoke Terrible Tornado by calling her a shrimp and using reverse psychology to persuade her to throw him and some rubble at the alien ship. This would allow Garou to board the ship and start battling Boros, the big boss. Although Garou would quickly recognize that he is outmatched, he would continue fighting because Boros threatened to destroy all of humanity, and Garou does not believe they all deserve to die, despite his negative view of most humans. Even utilizing all his skills, his keen intellect and instinct, his adaptability and skill hunting, his martial arts prowess and his reflexes, it's an uphill battle. For every one hit he got in, Boros would get like 5. But each time, Garou's fighting spirit would grow just a little bit stronger. Ultimately though, not strong enough. He'd think he has Boros on the ropes, and then, in true shonen fashion, the villain would break out his final form. Garou's faith might temporarily be shaken by the sight of it, but then he'd look down and be reminded of the sheer devastation the aliens have caused. Memories of those civilians' helpless faces would flash in his mind, giving him the strength to keep pushing. Garou would realistically accept he's about to get the crap kicked out of him, but still wouldn't let that stop him. He'd charge, get swatted away like a fly, stand up on shaky legs, and fearlessly charge again. He'd overcome death and power up, standing up and taking Boros on again, and this would repeat for a bit, over and over. He'd die and overcome death, till eventually, his limiters are almost destroyed. Then he'd unlock and manifest his monsterized form for the first time. This form causes his powers to explosively increase. It melds his clothing to his skin and covers him almost completely in a hard, inky black shell, reminiscent of a beetle's exoskeleton. Finally, this form would grant him an upper hand in the fight with Boros, pushing him back and beating him down almost completely. Almost. You see, while getting pummeled, Boros would notice small cracks beginning to form in his darkened monster shell as Garou repeatedly attacked. These cracks would appear due to the fact that Garou still isn't fully monsterfied yet. His new ebony armor covers most of his body, except his face. Boros would take strategic advantage of these weak spots on Garou's next attack, shattering his armor and dealing him a debilitating blow. Oh shucks, he was almost there too. Luckily for Garou, this would be a perfect time for Saitama to swoop in and take Boros out with a single normal punch. Saitama would joke that Garou made it easy for him by wearing him down. However, as they rejoin the other heroes and give their reports, Saitama would try to let Garou get all the credit for defeating Boros, saying that he only showed up at the last minute. Garou would never accept this. He would never take merit for someone else's accomplishment and would say that it'd make him no different from those wannabe heroes at the association. After meeting and interacting with Garou, Saitama might be prompted to ask, if he hated heroes so much, why become one? And Garou would tell him, all his life it had been pre-decided for him what his role would be, that he'd be a monster or a loser, just because he was a little different from everyone else, and for a time, he believed that.